Hi there. With numbers this high, and now we from other Canadian cities and regions around the world bringing in tougher restrictions for indoor dining, non-essential businesses, what will it take to bring in tougher restrictions here if this number over a weekend isn't concerning enough to look at cracking down? What number would be?
So I would not say that there's a specific number. There's a number of things that we are monitoring all the time to understand the impact of the pandemic on our community. And the things that we are monitoring are the number of new diagnoses, how rapidly they are changing, whether or not we can identify where people have received where people are able to identify where they were infected, our ability to follow up cases in a timely way, our ability to continue to provide testing, and as well as keeping in mind what the ultimate goals of pandemic control are, severe illness and minimizing deaths, is monitoring those indicators as well and looking at how we are managing this pandemic. This pandemic is something that we are managing, and the tools in our toolbox are contact tracing, testing, contact tracing, as well as additional and specific interactions or interventions that we need to do in response to surges. There's also public health measures that we are all doing throughout British Columbia all the time, and these are our tools in our toolbox. So I would say that there isn't a single number. There is a team of public health professionals that are monitoring the epidemic, its impact on our population, its impact on our healthcare system, and are also monitoring our ability to control it and respond. So at this moment, we have a concerning number of new infections. At the moment, we're also the hospitalizations are stable. The number of people in ICU remains stable, and these numbers and these indicators are being monitored all the time.
Do you have a follow-up, Shannon?
Yeah, for Minister Dix, one Metro Vancouver Police Department told me today they've issued 4 tickets in the past couple of weeks to people from out of country who they caught out breaking quarantine. A couple were discovered through routine traffic stops, the others from tips from the public. Are you worried that feds aren't doing enough to monitor and enforce people arriving from other countries to quarantine?
Well, I think it's a good opportunity to remind people of their obligation, their absolute obligation to self-isolate when they return to Canada. This is anyone who comes to British Columbia and who comes to Canada. And so I believe that significant efforts, and as you know, British Columbia took the lead in Canada on this question because of the seriousness with which we take this issue. Remember that COVID-19 as a pandemic in many parts of the world has much more severe circumstances, and indeed in many parts of Canada, than we have in British Columbia, even with the numbers on this weekend. So that's absolutely necessary. It's something that we review regularly with the federal government. It's our expectation that the federal government will do its work, and I think it is. But it's also our expectation that people who return to Canada fulfill their obligations to their families, to their communities, and to the country. And ensure that they self-isolate for the prescribed period. And you know, I'm interested to hear the story from the police officers that you've heard from. But we have to continue to monitor this question. The one thing I would, though, repeat is that we have, and you have seen, a significant public health order last Monday from Dr. Henry and from our team around gatherings in people's homes. That we also see, and the important role that WorkSafe is going to have to play and continue to play in ensuring that we monitor COVID-19 in workplaces, because we've seen significant outbreaks in workplaces, and we have to continue to do this work. But those are public health orders that limit people to 6 people outside those living in the home. And there's also public health advice in Fraser that Fraser Health that it might be less than that. So when we focus on issues, it's because those issues are the sources of transmission. And when public health gives an order, it's based on the evidence. It's based on a detailed analysis of this evidence by some of the most qualified people in the world. And so all of this is done methodically and with an effort to reduce the risk of the population, and also to limit transmission. So those are the steps we're taking. So yes, international travel is one of those aspects, and it's an important one. But so I want to repeat are the orders put in place by Dr. Henry last Monday.
Minister, you're already warning British Columbians to prepare for virtual holiday celebrations in November and December. Is there something that can be done now by the government to try and change that trajectory, whether that's a temporary period of increased restrictions or anything like that?
I think what I'm saying and what Dr. Gustafson and Dr. Henry are saying is that we're in a period now in November and December when days are shorter by an hour this weekend, at least at the end of the day, and time when the weather's getting worse and there's more things going on inside, and that we have to be even more conscious than we are in summer about the steps we need to take to be safe. And so we're going through a period of where there's a lot of celebration. We just went through Halloween, and we're going to have Diwali, we're going to have Hanukkah, we're going to have New Year's, we're going to have Christmas, we're going to have other celebrations. And so what we're saying right now very clearly is that private gatherings are a problem. I think that's what Dr. Gustafson and Dr. Henry said, and how they acted with respect to the provincial health order that was put in place last Monday. So what we need to do, it seems to me, now is to follow that guidance and to follow those orders, and that they're more important now than ever before. That the orders being provided as we see significant case counts, they're more important. So what can we do to make things better? Follow the advice, follow the guidance, right? And that means no more than 6 people outside those living in a home at a gathering. And if you can avoid it, less than that. I've told people I live in an apartment between 800 and 900 square feet. 6 in our living room is too much. So you have to use your COVID sense. And all of us have to come together to help flatten this curve, because growth in cases have consequences for all the things that we want to do, even Christmas. But I believe also that that we can have in this year, we can have virtual celebrations and other celebrations that are meaningful for people, that we need to do that we must do that. And so I don't say any of that with pessimism. I say that these are the things we have to do now to keep the ones that we love safe and to keep the ones that we don't know safe.